So I had a moment today where I'm by myself, sitting with myself, and pondering on my next moves in life, thinking about money. What is the next step to living a more fulfilling life and making more money for myself? So I'm on my Patreon building a shop. First product in my Patreon shop are wave shirts that I bought in Florida. So as I'm putting the shirts in my store, it's making me reflect on my time in Florida. And I had a moment where I actually missed my younger self. The reason why I'm wanting to make more money for myself is because I'm working a job. I do security. I've been there for 2 years already. So I'm sitting thinking about the trajectory of my life, and I have to assess if I'm on the right path or not. Is this the path that I'm going to stay on, or is this just a checkpoint? Usually, where we are is just a checkpoint for where we need to be. It is a step in the direction of wherever the next step is supposed to lead us. So I don't want to work security forever. I don't want to be there forever. I don't hate the job. It's night shift. When I was in Florida, I was in my best flow. I feel when I was homeless, when I was out here being creative, when I was doing the wave, I was vlogging every day. Um, that is the closest to what I feel is my true spirit and me walking in my true purpose. I feel like that's what it would look like. The only thing I didn't enjoy was the financial instability. So the only thing that's keeping me on my job is not wanting to go back to being in survival mode, as they like to call it. But then I thought about that and I'm like, aren't we all in survival mode? If you don't want to be in survival mode, then die. Just die, because then you don't have to survive anymore. I think people are living with the goal to survive comfortably. I don't really like being too comfortable, but as I get older, I appreciate the safety of having stable income, because that's the thing. Again, I don't want to go back to being a man out here scrambling for money every day. But when I think about it, there were some perks to being in that kind of flow. It made me more creative. It brought more energy out of me. Since I've been at this job for 2 years, I just feel my energy is a lot more calm. I don't feel as much of myself. Now, I'm not being completely quiet. These whole 2 years, I'm still building, I'm still doing content. I have my music co op that I've been running since November 2024. I had a community where I was running the wave as a movement. So I mean, I've been moving, I've been outside, but I guess I'm just never I'm never content with staying where I'm at, because if I'm alive, then I'm supposed to be growing, because your body is continuing to grow. I'm continuing to get older, so I never want my mind to become stagnant. I don't want to be complacent in how I wake up every day and do life. So I'm having to assess where I'm at, and since I'm not in survival mode and I have this job that's keeping me comfortable, I have to consciously make an effort to get in front of y'all and show up. So as I was looking at my old videos in Florida where I'm painting half of my face, I was going by Alexander Eyota. I really looked at myself, what's that, 3 years ago? And I'm like, damn, I miss that guy. I miss Alexander Eyota. I miss him. He was fearless. He was loving, courageous. He was outside every day. He quit his job. He quit both of his jobs and he bet on himself. He bet on himself. He stepped in faith and he got out here and did what he loved. He didn't have a definite plan of action, but he knew what he was going to do. He knew he was going to wake up every day, use his creative gifts, and whatever was to come of that, he was going to face it and do his best to maintain financially while doing what he loves. And ultimately, it ended in eviction. It ended in a lot of hardships and tough situations. Uh, and ultimately, it led me back to Atlanta, where I was trying to maintain that flow of being a nomad because I was living in my car in Florida while I was doing what I love. And I received a lot of criticism. So although it's so many ups and downs to being a liberated person and a loud person and a creatively free, expressing human being, it's a lot of obstacles that come with being that kind of person. So it's days where nights. It's nights when I go to work and I look at the way I've been living for the past few years, and I have moments where I think that I lost the battle. Like I let the system win. I let the system change who I really was because of the hardship that I went through while being who I wanted to be. Uh, so it's like now I know I don't want to be in that same position that I was in, because you don't go through hardship to go through it again and again. But sometimes I feel like that's the only way to be free in this world. You have to make the tough decision that's going to put you in a tough situation. The only thing that makes this life a little more easy and peaceful is abiding by these rules that are being set through the implementation of money and bills and having to pay and be part of this game. So I'm happy I've reached a point where I can exist in the game and do the normal thing, which is work a job. I've been pretty quiet past few years and I have not had to deal with all the shit that I dealt with in Florida when I was being my true self and being loud and creative. Uh, I don't really care to go back to that energy and have to face all that. But then I don't want to be a bitch either and run from, what I'm supposed to be doing just so I can, live long and live peaceful. Uh, as crazy as that sounds, sometimes the chaos is the more fulfilling thing, because if who I am is bringing me chaos or bringing me a lot of obstacles and challenges, then maybe those challenges are for me. And if I'm avoiding those situations, sometimes it just makes me feel like I'm wasting time and being a coward. Looking at the past as a reminder of who I was and the parts of me that I miss, and then I just apply those parts with a little bit more balance now. Because I'm not willing to just completely walk away from what I'm doing with my job right now. I do want to walk away comfortably, but sometimes I do want to say fuck it. I don't really have an attachment for physical material things. Not a strong attachment anyway, but when you're working for these things that you acquire in this life, like a car, a place to live, the longer you have these things and the longer you invest in these things by making money and paying the bills on them, the stronger the attachment becomes for these things. You don't want to lose them because now you feel like, why did I work all these years to get these things just to not pay for them anymore and just lose them? So hypothetically, if I was to just walk away from my job and just wing it, I know the risk that comes with doing that. Now I could be in a position where I would have to do that. You know, I could lose the job. So this idea of financial stability is not real, and you constantly have to wrestle with the idea of what's the next move. And I just want to be ahead of the game. I want to be ahead of the curve this time around in my life. I don't want to be responding to something. So I'm playing some offense by amping up my business. I just I just relaunched my branding business, so I do have a client that I've been working with. I'm not looking to take on any more clients. I'm really focusing on helping her build her brand. That's a mistake I made in the past, is trying to get too many clients and then not being able to manage the clients. So again, you learn from your mistakes and you use those mistakes to become better in the future. You don't completely lose yourself or run from what you did and just uh, become a shell of what you once were. You just learn and you be a little smarter the next time around. But again, man, sometimes I look at my younger self and I just be like, shit, that sure would be fun if I just tap back into that energy again. Part of me thinks it would be fun, but then the wise part of me is like, no, it wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be fun to go through homelessness again and scrambling for money every day. It's always sacrifice in all the decisions we make. I still want to be that loud, talkative, expressive person, and I still have a lot of life in me. I got a lot of messages and words and things that I want to share. So sometimes I find myself talking a lot about my time in Florida. You know how the old heads, they'll constantly beat you over the head about, back in my day, man, it used to be like this and this and this, and we did this, and I don't want to be that guy, because if I'm constantly talking about my past, then that probably means I'm not doing something with my life right now that's worth talking about, or I'm not living in a way where I can be fully happy about what's happening. Now, that's not to say you won't look back and have those stories and reminisce, but if you constantly, if you're constantly talking about the past and you look at your current life and it's not as interesting, then you probably should be doing something different. And that's where I'm at. I just want to I want to weave in more things. I'm only 38. Now, it's people that die at younger ages than 38. I would say a lot of people hit late 20s, early 30s, and they feel like they done did everything they wanted to do. They done lived their young life, and now they just want to live a regular, stay out the way, work a job, make my money, and that's it. I don't really want that. I don't want that. I've had the thought of looking for higher paying jobs, but that doesn't make sense to me, because why would I go from one plantation to another? Like, oh, let me leave this plantation because it's not paying that much, but then let me go work on another plantation because this one offers more money. But then, like, the higher paying plantation might not bring you more peace. You know, I work a very peaceful job that doesn't take my creative time away. So that's why it's been so easy to be comfortable in this position I'm in, because it's affording me some easy money without me having to sacrifice the time I want to spend building the things that I want to build. So sometimes you just have to amp yourself up a little bit, and that's what I'm doing now. This system really is designed to kill your creativity. It's designed to make you sit still in a box, and they make you focus on what they want you to focus on for a lot of hours of your day. 8 hours of your day, you are focused on what they want you to focus on, and then when you leave that job or that school or wherever you're at for a majority of your peak hours of your day, at that point you just want to chill, you want to sleep. You don't really have much energy to pour into yourself and the things you really love and want to do. Change starts with the decision to do something different, do something better, to challenge yourself. I want to do more. I want to focus in on talking to y'all more. I miss vlogging. I miss doing these one-on-one chats and spreading my voice. And I don't want to be at this job forever. I don't want to be working security night shift forever. And I like to gauge my life based on lifetime goals. Is this something I want to invest in forever? That's something you have to always ask yourself. Because if it ain't a forever thing, then you need to be thinking about what the next move is. What's the move after this if this ain't what I want to be doing forever? That's the worst thing, to be stuck in a cycle and you don't know what next. You're just in that cycle because it's the convenient thing to do and it's working right now, and maybe you are able to pay your bills and live somewhat comfortably, but you're not fulfilled. I like to shake shit up. I still have people from Florida that hit me up today saying they miss me. Like, man, we miss you in Lake County. When you coming to visit Florida? Sometimes I think, what would life look like if I had never left Florida? Where would I be? What would I be doing? I know before I left Florida, I was gonna be working on getting a CDL so that I could make money on the road while being a nomad. Because the main thing that I was struggling with is not being able to make money, or not money, make music. Not making money was fucking with me too. So yeah, being broke. That's one thing I can say. Being broke and creatively free, that shit is not fun. I'm not going back to that. That's why I don't want to take any drastic risks, because I know what comes with that. And that financial stress day to day, it's not fun. Having to come on the internet and have people accuse you of pandering and scamming because you're out here trying to create money doing what you love, while majority of these people have jobs and they looking at you like, why you can't get one? That shit ain't fun, bro. It's not. It's not. So I'm just doing the thing that a lot of people suggest that you do. It's like, work the job and work your passion on the side until the passion can cover until your passion can meet the income of your job. Only then do you leave the job. So I have never made that comfortable transition from job money to entrepreneur money. So that's where I'm at right now, is working on getting myself to that point to see if I can make that comfortable transition from the job to just, doing the creative stuff. But I also want to say I really like having jobs. I've had the thought of just having different jobs at different times. I like that the job gives me some balance because I don't want to be too overly consumed in my creative self. The job helps me stay a little more grounded, because without the job, I can be very erratic. I can be very, very much in my creative flow to the point where I lose that structure. So the job helps me, and I like having a sense of service through the job, because a lot of this creative stuff we do and these dreams we have as artists, they're not mandatory things for humanity. These aren't essential working jobs, or these aren't things where people are going to be dying without the things we do. These people have said, music saves their life, and I'm not trying to devalue what artists bring to the world, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of the dreams people have, it's rooted in their own desire to live a certain way off of something they like to do. But when you look at just these everyday jobs that people don't want to work, I would say a person at McDonald's serves a way greater purpose than me sitting in a studio making some songs. Like, you're at McDonald's taking orders for people and helping to feed people that need to eat to survive. So I think that's a way more purposeful thing to do. I love who I'm becoming, though. I love that I'm becoming a lot more calm. I'm excited to show up as the new version of myself. That's a lot more wise, less impulsive, more calculated in my moves and what I say and how I respond to people. More of a calm offensive player than a wild defensive player. I feel like I was playing a lot of defense in life, responding to the things that's going on. And that's what was making me very overly expressive and passionate and angry and all those emotions. It's because I was responding to these urgent situations where I had to make something happen. So the challenge is being able to tap into that spirit without being forced into it.